Hey, what's going on, guys? This is X once again. Another off-season video. This time we have some big news. I'm a Laker fan, and I know this video is going to cause a lot of controversy within the Laker fan base, but that's okay. I'm here to speak objectively and speak the truth. I don't care what anyone says. If y'all want to go on my head about for what I'm about to say in this video, please either A, click off of it, or B, what would you suggest that's better? But let's get into the nooks and crannies of this vid, shall we? So, big news coming out from the Lakers front office is that Austin Reeves has recently declined a max extension that would have paid him $89.2 million for over 4 years. Austin is hoping to cash in a larger deal in the future. I'm reading this off of CBS Sports. If y'all want to read the article for yourselves, I'll link it in the description below. LA Lakers sharpshooter Austin Reeves is eligible for a big pay raise this offseason, but he has decided to be patient in regarding his next extension. According to The Athletic, Reeves formally declined a max extension from the Lakers that would have paid him $89.2 million over the next 4 years. Austin Reeves has one more year remaining on his current contract and then a player option in the 2026-27 season. What he can do now is decline that player option in the future, so the 2026 offseason, and then he can hit unrestricted free agency. The Athletic also reports that Austin's decision to decline the max extension was not an indication that the 27-year-old guard is contemplating a change of scenery, but simply a financial move to open the door for potential more money in this contract. And obviously, the article goes on to say how much Austin wants to stay in LA. So, after reading that article, what are my thoughts? Well, obviously, before I get into my thoughts officially, obviously, if y'all saw my series recap vid about the Lakers and how much we freaking sucked this postseason, getting absolutely embarrassed in 5 games by the Minnesota T-Wolves. Rudy Gobert absolutely humiliated us. And again, this is the stuff I was trying to tell a few people that were Laker fans that I don't know if we had a chance. And I kind of said Lakers in 5 reluctantly in my playoff preview vid because, again, their bench was better than ours. They had a big, we did not. You dig what I'm saying? And then here's the problem here. I want to really express my own opinion regarding Austin Reeves. And I'm going to get a lot of people hating on me for this opinion. But I do not mind if we trade him if that means we get something better. And I say this because we already have enough defensive deficiencies between Luka Doncic and LeBron James. And Reeves was only going to add on to our defensive deficiencies as we saw in the playoffs. He was a black hole on defense. And because of the fact he was a black hole on defense, and Luka being a black hole on defense himself, and LeBron not really being all that engaged on that end as well, but at least he has an excuse. He's 40. But it's just like when you have those three out on the floor, it's not going to do good for us. Yeah, we could score all the points all we want. But because of the fact that those three do not have the foot speed defensively to keep up with an Anthony Edwards, to keep up with, let's say, a Nikola Jokic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because we did not have that reliable defense, and we had to put like all our faith in Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith and Rui Hachimura. Like, it's no wonder we got outed in 5 games the way we did, right? So as a result, Austin is starting to become very expendable, and it also helps. You also want to know one thing, y'all, is that because of the fact that he declined this offer from the Lakers, and yes, I am aware that he's eligible for a 5-year, $246 million extension. I'm well aware of that. But we got to understand here is that even with that, he's still considered an expendable. And if we can get something better like a starting caliber big or a 3-and-D guard that you can put next to Luka, because here's the thing about it. A lot of y'all are going to say, well, he played with Kyrie Irving, so why does it matter if he played next to Austin Reeves? Here's the thing. The Mavericks at the time, they had defenders around them. They had adequate defenders and bigs that could roll to the rim. Super athletic bigs that could defend like hell. That's the difference between playing with Luka playing with Austin Reeves and playing with Kyrie. And here's the thing. Kyrie is already an established player in this league. He's won a championship. He's been a leader of a team before, with whether that's his first go around with Cleveland or his or what he tried to do with the Boston Celtics in 2017 to 2019. And if you look at that Mavericks team that made the finals, those were the only 2 defensive deficient players on that team, Luka and Kyrie. So because of the offensive brilliance of the 2 of them, they were a really, really good duo. when they played, and we saw it firsthand in the playoffs. It didn't matter if they were deficient defensively because of those factors. Here with the Lakers, Finney Smith sucks. Vanderbilt, a lot of us overrated Jared Vanderbilt. He's a good defensive weapon to have off your bench, but he's not the end all be all that honestly I thought he was. Because initially in my series, in my playoff preview, I said Jared Vanderbilt has to guard Anthony Edwards if we want to have a chance, but he didn't. We ended up falling for Finney Smith, and Finney Smith got torched. Maxi Kleber for some reason saw minutes. Jackson Hayes stinks. So, bro, it mattered then. It didn't matter with the Mavericks because they had players. The Lakers did not have players. Gabe Vincent, for God's sakes, was horrendous. So now, am I going to blame all our problems for Austin Reeves? No, because I described everything that went wrong with the Lakers, and even after that 20, where that stretch where we went 20-4, I really started tuning into Laker games, and I said that we're not as good as we thought or as I thought. You know what I'm saying? I tried telling a few people, but they didn't listen, and they had to they had to watch it the hard way, right? So I'm not going to blame all our problems on Reeves, but Reeves, he's an expendable, and honestly, I don't have a problem with us trading him. And a lot of people are saying, well, what about Caruso? Yeah, Caruso hurts, but here's the thing. Caruso hurts because we lost a lot of heart and soul and grit defensively. Not Austin, Alex gave us that grit, that toughness defensively, whether it was going after Jamal Murray, whether it was going after Damian Lillard, whether it was going after Russell Westbrook and James Harden, whether it was even taking a turn on Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic, even though I know Goran was hurt in that series as well. And obviously he had a few tries on Devin Booker, and Book torched us because for some reason we refused to get the ball out of his hands. But that's absolutely fine. Here's the thing about the difference with Austin and Alex is a lot of you Laker fans are comparing apples to oranges because Austin Reeves, we lose some offense. We are not losing anything defensively. In fact, if we can get a good big or a 3-and-D guard that could start next to Luka, we gain a whole lot more than just a guy that could get you 20 points in the regular season. Losing Alex Caruso was a bigger deal than us losing Austin Reeves should that happen. So look, I get it. I personally like Reeves myself. He's a good baller. I get it. He's a savvy little white kid from the deep south who loves the LA lifestyle, who's relatable, and yada 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 yada. But with the Luka trade, we are signifying that we are not trying to rebuild after the post-LeBron era. We are still trying to win now, even after LeBron leaves. And honestly, if we keep this same roster, and the best thing we could do is trade Rui Hachimura for Andrew Wiggins, because that's been a trade rumor that I heard that we may trade Rui for Wiggs. If that's the best we could do, we better sign someone like a Miles Turner or a Nas Reed or a Clint Capella or whoever the hell. Because if that's the best we could do, just getting Andrew Wiggins, who's really been underwhelming since his stint with Golden State, especially that finals one where he was at the top of his game, where he was overall phenomenal. If that's the best we can do, then shoot, we may as well be 5-gamed again in the 2026 postseason, because that roster was not going to go anywhere, and it's going to be no different if we keep Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron, and the best we could do is Andrew Wiggins. Again, some of you guys are going to say, oh, this guy's hating on Austin Reeves. No, I'm not hating on the guy. I wish him the best, whether that's with us or not. But right now, he's an expendable, and I wouldn't be mad if we traded him if that means we get something better. A good 3-and-D guard. Signing some guys in free agency. I have some guys in my notes that we could take a look at. Amir Coffey's available. A nice little 3-and-D wing that when Ty Lue gave him minutes on the Clippers, Amir played well. The problem was, because of the play of guys like Batum and Bogdanovich, Coffey ultimately fizzled out of the rotation. But if you put him in a JJ Redick system where we're run and gun and we can be a defensive-minded squad, you can put him next to Luka and it would be pretty successful. Gary Trent Jr., who absolutely unleashed his game with the Milwaukee Bucks this past year, obviously that Game 5 where he absolutely was torching the Pacers until the last minute where he fumbled the ball out of bounds. Getting players like that, again, getting a Clint Capella could help us out a lot. These guys are not going to be the end-all, be-all, but these guys are going to be a blueprint on how you build a team around Luka Doncic. And here's the other thing. Austin Reeves may not be in our future with Luka on the team because, again, he's a defensive deficient guard. LeBron, he's defensively deficient himself. And then Luka, defensive deficiencies. And a lot of people are saying that, oh yeah, he's healthy, he's losing a lot of weight and yada yada yada. That's great. But will that translate? Because after all, he can be in the best shape possible. But right now, I've heard these buzzings before, especially with the whole Ben Simmons is shooting threes type of thing in the offseason. I'm not comparing Luka to Simmons, but it's like, can this translate on the court? Because defense is all in the mind. I've seen Luka play defense with the Mavericks last year, especially in those rounds against the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and even in parts of the Minnesota T-Wolves series. So yeah, Laker fans, it's time for all of us to come to reality and realize that we may need to trade Austin Reeves, especially if that means we land someone better. Because I understand he's a fan favorite. I understand his impact on the game, offensively. But again, if we can get someone better, especially one who could play defense, one who could be a lob threat for Luka, we're not losing much if we lose Austin Reeves. And even if, okay, let's say LeBron retires. Oh, who's going to be the second scorer next to Luka? We have a lot of options to pick and choose from too. So Austin Reeves is not the end-all be-all solution either. So me personally, if y'all ask me, because of what I saw in these last 2-3 playoffs, yes, I understand he had a decent showing in 2023, but the 2 postseasons after that, Austin has been god-awful. I wouldn't be mad if we traded him. And I will say it one last time. I personally am a fan of Austin Reeves, but with his skill set and talents, plus his defensive deficiencies, I don't know if he's going to be sustainable, especially when building around Luka. All right. So a lot of you Laker fans are going to come at me. Again, if you guys have something better, please let me know in the comments below. But these are just my thoughts. I'm not trying to hate on anyone. I'm not trying to, blame our series loss on one player. But sometimes we have to look at reality. And I think this may be the reality that a lot of us Laker fans have to face. And here's the thing too. I want to address one last point. I want to touch on one last point. The difference between losing Caruso and losing Austin Reeves is when we lost Caruso, Jeanie Buss in the front office valued Talen Horton-Tucker. And then we shipped him off in 2022 to the Utah Jazz, and now Talen is rotting with the Bulls, which they really don't look like they have a direction. All right. Austin Reeves, if we pass up on him, there's a chance we could get something better. Now, are we going to get something better in the draft? I would hope so, but all the good centers are taken. Unless we can find a center or a diamond in the rough, obviously, there's going to be a big shakeup that will happen during the year, during this offseason, and hell, we may have another mid-season acquisition. So that's it. I just wanted to get on here and explain my 2 cents about the whole situation going on between Austin Reeves declining his max extension with the Lakers. Again, I know there are going to be a lot of Laker fans that are going to come after my head because I said trade Austin Reeves. Here's the thing. What would you guys suggest? Because we cannot run it back. If we are serious about going all in, knocking off OKC, getting revenge on Minnesota, hell, beating a team like the Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets now that they have Kevin Durant. If we're serious, we cannot run it back with this roster. I'm just saying. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let's keep it respectful. And more off-season videos coming soon. Gameplay videos coming soon during the off-season as well. So I'm excited. Let's hit the ground running, y'all. But until then, that's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.